This video is on Emile Durkheim. He was a French sociologist in the late 1800s to early 1900s. If you don't know who Emile Durkheim was, he was considered one of the founders of sociology. As I mentioned, he was alive from April 15th, 1858 to November 15th, 1917. He was 59 years old when he passed. He was known for the term social fact, advancing the term sacred-profane dichotomy in his written works. So, I mentioned earlier social fact, and that refers to values, cultural norms, and social structures that transcend the individual and can exercise social control. For those who don't understand, or just aren't quite sure what that means, a social fact consists of collective thoughts and shared expectations that influence individual actions. Examples of social facts include social roles, norms, laws, values, beliefs, rituals, and customs. The concept of sacred-profane dichotomy, that was mentioned earlier, was advanced by Durkheim, meaning he didn't create it, but he did use it a lot. He thought it to be the central characteristic of religion. Durkheim once said that religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things, that is to say, things set apart and forbidden. As I mentioned, Durkheim wrote many texts. He was French, so these are the English translations, but it's the same thing. He wrote on the division of social labor, the rules of sociological method, suicide, and the elementary forms of religious life. He has many other texts, but these are the four main ones. For education, he went to Lycée Louis-le-Grand and École Normale Supérieure before he went to university. Those were like after high school, before university schools. For university, he went to the University of Marburg, Berlin, and Leipzig. So a lot of what he did in his life transcended into his career. To begin, all his male relatives were rabbis, as he is Jewish. So Durkheim went to a rabbinical school when he was younger, but switched fairly early on to a non-rabbinical school. He decided not to follow in his family footsteps because he wanted to learn more about non-religious things. So he continued his life without following religion at all. A fair bit of his work was dedicated to showing that religious phenomena stemmed from social rather than divine factors. Durkheim did not sever ties with his family or the Jewish community, and he even partnered with a lot of Jewish people in his work. Some of the Jewish people he worked with were actually his relatives, an example being Marcel Mauss. He was a notable social anthropologist and was his nephew. Thanks for listening. I hope you learned something new. And just remember that this presentation, these are my works cited, but please remember that this presentation format was done by SlidesGo, and if you're interested in this or in other types of templates, use SlidesGo. This was not sponsored, but use them. They're fantastic.